Everybody, welcome to another episode of the According to West podcast, where we have the power to control our own lives to determine our own happiness and success, and which is why I don't mention my hobby purchases to my wife, as always.
That sounded positive. I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds really positive.
That is positive. It's toxic. As always, we got DeLaw, and I tell you why it's toxic.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me why it's toxic, because that sounded very positive. Except for that, you don't tell your wife of your.
I have the power to control. We have the power to control our own lives. Mm-hmm. We determine our happiness and success. Why do you think that correlates with telling my wife what I purchase and how much I spend?
Because you purchase it on your own with your money. Why the fuck it matter?
All right, we have DeLaw. I'll explain.
You have DeLaw, possibly getting worked in 2K.
No, you getting worked.
I'm getting worked. Dude put up 31 on me, and we the last minute of the fourth quarter, he put up 31 on 7 threes.
And you got me, Wes. Currently not getting worked, but getting worked.
He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be Tim Duncan and David Robinson with me.
You if you are available, and you have my word. I will play later on today.
All right. I'm gonna hold you to it and be like, hey, Wes, it's 4.
As long as you ain't telling me like, all right, it's 10 o'clock. Like, let's play.
Nah, you already know I can't get on there 10 o'clock.
You got me, Wes. I ain't even introduced myself. But yeah. What time is it? Like around 4 or 5. Let's see.
I can do 4 or 5.
Yeah. But here's the reason why that shit is toxic in my particular situation. My wife has more bills than me. Sometimes she be like, damn, I wish I can get this, and this. I don't want to show her that she knows I got it, but I don't want to show her that I got it, that I could just buy whatever the fuck I want at any time that I want to buy and maintain the bills. Because you know what that's going to turn into? I like nice things. You don't never help me out in this, and that, and blah, 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 blah. I don't even want to have that conversation.
Right.
So, nah, I don't tell her. I think I'm going to tell her I just spent $600 on something? No.
Well, no, I would. That much I wouldn't. Shit.
Listen, I told my wife, because I had just paid the mortgage and paid for some groceries and shit, and she was about to ask you. I was like, look, we ain't doing a lot. We ain't doing nothing expensive. That's when I had told you we was out and about yesterday. I was like, we ain't doing nothing expensive. I just paid the mortgage. I just bought some groceries. For real, we can eat at home. But we out. She was like, okay. She ain't had nothing to say. I'm like, what could you say? I paid the mortgage and I paid the food in this house. Like, I ain't gonna say what I say go, but
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
And in that instance,
whatever you say is go. No, own up to it. Whatever you say is gold, nigga.
No, I'm saying in that particular situation, I ain't that type of guy.
You sure about that?
Some people be like, yeah, you paid that, but I want this. And it's just like, well, shit. I don't know how that's going to work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I wouldn't have held back, but I also would have said it under my breath where she couldn't hear it either. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, yeah. But,
nah, here's the thing. Even if it's not unwritten, but even if it's a secret, quiet is kept, or like it don't need to be said, I ain't gonna never say that shit to my wife, because at that point she won't feel like I don't respect her, and I don't want to have that conversation either.
Well, you know, sometimes you gotta have the hard convos. You know,
yeah. She knows what it is. I know what it is.
Yeah, and why would I have that hard convo with her?
Why would I shake the table, quote unquote?
You ain't playing that game with her.
Yeah, all right. You don't understand. You do understand. You're just
I understand. I'm just trying to get you.
Listen, you ain't had those. Listen, do you like having those conversations at 2:00 in the morning when you sleep? No. Okay. So
my wife is notorious for
mine too.
You know, she can't sleep. And
I find it funny how, and I'm just like, yo, I'm sleep, man. I can't do this. I find it funny how.
It'd be 4 something in the morning. I barely crack open one eye. yeah, I couldn't sleep because this on my mouth.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't want to do that.
I haven't had none of those conversations no time soon, so
Me either.
I feel better.
The crazy thing about those conversations for me, I can't defend myself the right way because I'm sleepy. So in my head, I'm like, all right, that's like what do you call it? Circuit breakers go off in my brain. Like, yo, she might be trying to trick bag you. You are sleepy. Don't say shit. And let's just say, can we do this in the morning? Because you're going to say something out of sleepiness. And you might say something out of anger because she's keeping you up or she woke you up. Just push this shit off so you can go to bed.
What's to say that anything you don't say or anything you say won't make a man? You could be like, babe, can we talk about this later? It could make it.
No, I get that, but it's 2:00 in the morning. You know, I got it.
It ain't 2:00 in the morning. They hit.
Yeah.
I think it is 7 a.m., 8 a.m., the afternoon, because they still up. Therefore, you need to listen to what they saying, regardless of what you got to do the next day.
I remember one time, I was just a long time back, at one of my ex-girlfriend's house and shit like that. I'm sleeping and shit. And she tried to bring up something that happened like months ago, but at like 3:00 in the morning. And in my head, I'm like, this is a trick. You don't even remember what lie you told her. So push
all I can say
off
is,
to tomorrow morning. Off to tomorrow morning. I'm just like, geez Louise, man. Nah, we all been there. Like sometimes it's not even like a major lie that you done told her. It's just like, yo, now I got at that woman was clingy. So it was times that I was lying to her about certain things because she would get mad that I didn't spend the time with her. Or she was like, you don't never spend time, or this, and that. So it's kind of like, nah, I might have to lie. Like, yeah, I went to go help my mom do something, but for real, I sat in front of my man's house and we was eating Leo's pizza and drinking beer. So I'm not going to go say that. Right. You kind of dig what I'm saying?
Can't say that.
No, I cannot say that.
Look, your time and money are the same thing to them. Their time and their money is their money.
It's there.
Their money and your money is our money.
So yeah, it's like stupid shit like that. So it's just like I'm not doing it.
I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I bought some wine and she ain't like the wine and shit. She was like, I'm gonna just put some lemonade in it. I said, what? What the fuck are you doing? I
said the same shit. Like what?
I said, if anything, put vodka in it. Don't put lemonade in it.
Don't put no wine in it. Nah, nigga, put more liquor in it.
Yeah, that was.
Look, just because you didn't get a fruity wine doesn't mean that you can't get drunk by adding more.
It's the sourest fruit, lemon.
Of course.
But anyway, yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta lie. I said sometimes you gotta lie.
Shit. I ain't lying about nothing no more.
That was a lie. We all know. Sometimes you gotta lie.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah. Yo, is what are some aspects of your life that you feel like you have control over and will always have control over to ensure your happiness and success?
Since I got married, nothing.
Damn, that was not what I thought you was going to. You don't have control over nothing in your life.
I got control.
Your personal life, DeLaw's life.
Look, I thought I had control over playing video games. Oh, you on that goddamn video game? Why don't you fuck it? Oh, you recording today? Here you go. You ain't got no time for me, nigga. I ain't got no control over nothing no more. I am literally a fly in my own house. I'm a fly on the wall in my own house.
I think you're looking at this surface level.
Of course I am.
Outside of you not having control in your house, what do you have control over in your life?
In my life?
I guess.
Nothing. Everybody tells me what to do.
Who and what no. In a sense of who and what DeLaw is.
My car tells me it needs maintenance and gas. I don't have no control over nothing. I just be responding to shit like, all right, well, damn, nigga, you need gas? Fuck. All right, let's take it to the gas station, nigga.
So if you have if you have control over nothing, are you truly happy?
I feel like it's a trick question.
I'm asking you a question. There's no gotcha.
It's all in how it makes you feel, you know? I have no control over anything, and as long as I don't feel like I don't have control over anything, I guess I'm happy.
What?
So, okay. So what I'm hearing you say is you definitively feel like you have no control over anything, but you know you don't. And you have come to terms with that, so you're happy about it. Like it ain't a grand mystery.
It ain't a grand mystery at all. Now when I say this, now I know there's some things I do have control over.
That's what I actually.
For the sake of conversation, you know, I'm saying it as an aspect of how normally someone would see it is, you know, I get up, I gotta go to work. The policy says I got to shower and, you know, everything else. So that means there's things, even though I control how I shower, it's still required of me to shower to go to work. And I got things I got to do at work. Then if I didn't have to tutor after I got off work, then there's I could go out, but then I still have to be home at a certain time because then I don't want my wife to be bothered by so. So eventually I still have to come home. I can't just stay out all night and come home at 2 a.m. after having a good old time. Right. And then when I get home, you know, I got a tutor. So now I'm obligated to the parents that pay me money to do the tutor. And then the kids ask me questions. And then it's hit or miss whether or not we're going to cook dinner. So it might be, well, babe, what's for dinner? I don't know. I thought you were cooking. How the hell am I going to be cooking? You was home all day. Like, why am I cooking? You were home. So now it turns into, well, now I got to figure out what we're going to eat. So now we have to eat. So I'm not necessarily, I would say about 90% of the time, I'm not in control of my own day. Everything is told what to do to me until I get on video games. And that's a 10% of my life where even on a video game, it tells me what to do. Yeah. Because I played basketball for so long, I know my role and I played my role. So now I'm still being told mentally from past experiences what to do. Hence why I was sitting there listening to the dudes who complained that my guy put up 33, and in my head, I'm like, he could have put up less if y'all covered your guys. You know, it turns into, am I really the master of my own destiny? Not really. And the only thing I can control is applying the jobs. It's from my perspective, applying the jobs. And then once I get to the interview, that's no longer in my control because they might just not like me because I'm black. You know, my resume don't sound like, oh, well, you know, this is going to be a white guy. He got such credentials. You see a young black nigga, it's like, well, damn, I thought this had been a white motherfucker. Yeah. Let's see what this nigga got to say. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
Just my perspective, just to, you know, just for the conversation.
No, I got you.
But do I personally think you can do whatever you want to do and you can control what you want to control? Yes, you can. But you also got to be willing to deal with those consequences that come with it. I'm so happy to take the road that the consequences are a whole lot easier to deal with, like staying married, keeping the job.
Yeah.
You know, not losing clients. I choose the consequences that will benefit me versus doing what I want to do and possibly not be married, lose my job, lose client. You know what I'm saying? So I use my best judgment.
Yeah.
In that case, if that helps out with filtering out where you were going with this.
Nope. So no, I did. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, even with me, like, it's like, yo, knowing what you can't control kind of gives you perspective on what you can't control, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, yo, everybody's in the game of life, but everybody's a different player or a different character, if you will.
Yeah. Different
attributes and shit like that. So, outside of that and learning how to maneuver in between that, controlling your life becomes a lot easier. Like, we know what comes with being black. We know what comes with being men. So it's like there's gonna be those things of being black and being a man. Certain things you ain't gonna be able to control, but it's some things you can control, like crashing out.
Yeah,
like I was saying, like getting in random fucking fights. Like how we was just talking about, like me some dude stepping to me at the gym over something, over a barbell, or stupid shit like that. So it's like, hell yeah,
that doesn't make any sense to be.
There has to be some type of control in your life in order for you to be happy. Because you're like, let's just say that, for instance, you'll always be crashing out. You might always be losing jobs. You might always be losing loved ones because you can't control your goddamn self. Right. So that's how I see. That's what I get from that. Like, having the power to control your own life, like you do within the constructs of the rules and, laws of nature and all that other good stuff. So, but, yeah. Like I was saying earlier, that's why I don't, it's not wise. If I want to be happy, I don't tell my wife about the purchases. She'll be like, yo, we could put money over here. And I don't want to put money over there.
I told my wife all my purchases. This is what I brought, babe. No. Why'd you buy that? Because I wanted to.
No.
What's the issue with you buying that?
Nope.
Well, we could have did that. That ain't my problem.
Me having that, like I said before, me having that conversation doesn't make me happy. So if I'm controlling my life for happiness and success, I don't need to have the conversation. Bills are paid.
Bills are paid. Everything taken care of.
Fuck yeah. Why is that needed?
I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work.
I think we got an argument the other day, and she was like, well, I always take care of it. It was about the cat. So the cat has been scratching off his hair. Mm-hmm. We found out, and she's like, well, when we came back from Panama, he had a patch of hair missing off his chest. Yeah. When we came back from Manhattan, he had a patch missing off his face. And gradually,
he might be doing it because y'all leaving.
Well, that's what I thought. And then it started being that he started scratching at his hair, like really scratching, like, and getting scabs and the hair coming out. Like he's practically bald on part of his head. And I'm like, okay, we need to like go, to the vet. Like I get it, he's a cat, but we need to go to a vet because we about to have a half-headed zombie-looking cat in this motherfucker. And it got to a point she was calling that motherfucker zombie. Oh, I'm like, hey, why you calling the cat zombie? But so I was like, all right, well, if I give you the money and set the appointment, do you mind taking the cat to his appointment? And she was like, all right, cool. She calls back. Well, did you think about my time and what I had planned for? I'm like, you literally just told me as long as it's on Tuesday and Friday, it's fine. So what are we talking about? I said, so can you take one? Can you not take one? When I say the conversation went from being on the phone with her to she got home and she was like, oh, well, like you didn't think of my time. Like you think I just don't do nothing at home on my telework days. And, like I be trying to relax and this and this. And did you ever think about looking at your schedule, possibly taking time off to go do it? So I'm like, so is this a no, you're not doing it? Or, if you're not going to do it, that's fine. I could figure something out.
Right.
Well, no, I'm not saying no, but I want to know if you thought about this. In my head, I really want to be like, no, I just need to know if you're going to do it or not. So I know what the next steps are. Like at some point, I get it. You want to prove a point.
But it's like proving a point that didn't need to be proven.
Right. Like if you're like, nah, I can't do it. Okay, cool. I'll figure out something to.
You should have just lied. Because that's what I would have did.
I thought about it, but then
no, she should have lied.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's just like, nah, I'm not. She ain't had to lie. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. Nah, because my telework days, I got to work, and I don't want to take the time off.
Or like I don't feel comfortable in doing it.
And like I told her, I said, all you had to do was say no. If you didn't really want to do it, just say no. Period.
Yeah. Because
at the end of the day, we wasted 30 to 45 minutes of our day that we could have been talking about something productive or anything else, just for you to tell me for one, tell me, well, you know what? You know, you leave me hanging on this, and I got to figure this out. And you know, you don't, you know, when you know, you never asked to take David here. You never do this, and this. I'm like, well, one, you never asked, and two, you told me you got it. So if you had asked me to do any of these things, I'm like, all right, that's fine. Just like when he was playing football, she'd be like, can you pick him up from football practice? Okay. Like it was no fight, no argument about it. Do you mind picking him up from here? You know, that's fine. I'll do that. You want to rob me? Okay, fine. We can do that. But now I actually that. It's like, well, did I really ask you for anything that is out the realm of a cat that you wanted? So I said, we can go back and say and figure out who asked for this cat. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. I didn't ask for the cat.
You want to argue or get your coochie ate? Come on, I don't play with it.
I said, when do I ever tell you no? My whole thing is, when do I tell you no? Tell me when I say, oh, you told me no when. That's because financially it wasn't right. You told me no, you didn't want to go. I said, wait a minute. So so the situation, she brought two situations. One was about some financial shit. The other one was about, she said she was tired. She didn't want to go pick up her son from the train station. No. We're not even going to pull that one because at the end of the day, he
wasn't supposed to be where he was supposed to be.
Well, no, not even that. It was, she said, I would never ask you to pick up my son because he's my responsibility. So then why you ask me to go pick up your son? So make up your mind. Do you want him to be collectively our responsibility, or do you want him to be solely yours? Because all of our arguments have come from stemming from him of me trying to be the father figure, and then you saying that I'm too strict, I'm too this, you acting like your stepfather, blah blah, and then it turns into, well, how could, your stepfather, you don't help with anything with him. So which one you want? You want to be a father, or you want me? You don't want me to help. You can't pick and choose what makes you feel good.
Not only that, we're raising a young man. Just that statement alone, you can't pick and choose what makes you feel good. Men can't pick and choose what makes them feel good. Unfortunately, some of the only decisions that we should take are the hardest decisions. Mm-hmm. Women, they can kind of get away with like not making the hardest decision, but we can't. So it's kind of like with raising a young man, I would assume that like, it's going to seem like I'm being strict, but there's a lot more, you know what I mean? It could be a lot more harder for him with someone else.
All I ever do is try to prepare him for how hard it's going to be with a woman. You know what I'm saying?
True indeed.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he had this notion in his head. So his mother brought him some of those minute rice things.
Yeah.
And he didn't want them. So he took one of the ready, and mind you, the stuff on our side of the cabinet is generally for me and her, but certain things are for all of us.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, well, I'm going to just take the 1 pack of ready rice. Now, the ready rice, okay, it's a little bit more than the minute rice. You got to warm maybe 2-3 of those up to get what's in the thing. So my wife was like, well, why are these over here? Oh, well, you didn't see what happened? No. Oh, I took the one over here and I gave you this. And so I look at her, I'm like, didn't you buy him shit for him to eat, for him to still come over to our side of the cabinet and take some shit of ours? Like, no, like we're not doing that. And so, well, I just want to make sure he eats. The little nigga eats anyway. He got a job. He can go get his own fucking food. I don't give a shit about that. No, it either set the tone. If you want to be like, I'm going to be the sole disciplinary, then set the real tone.
Yeah.
Set the real tone. Like, no, that's not acceptable. Why are you in our bedroom? Why the door open? Why our bedroom door open if we know we closed the shit? Yeah. Why are you in our bedroom? Why are you eating shit that's not yours? You got a whole cabinet on your side. You can go, like set the real tone. Don't set this mock tone. I'm just glad he's eating. No, bitch, I don't give a shit that motherfucker eating. If he ate all his food in 2 days, then nigga, he'll be hungry for 6 or 5. You're like, I don't give a shit. But that's the reality of if she let me be involved and we could have that conversation, the conversation would turn into that she's going to always choose her son over me. And that's why when her uncle asked me one time, he was like, well, I said, well, honestly, I've already come to terms that I'm not the most important thing in her life, or the most important person in her life. I come maybe fifth or sixth.
You should not come fifth or sixth.
Well, but mind you, it's from
I understand second.
Like
maybe even third.
And he was like, oh, well, I think you're definitely high up there. I said, but I'm not the first one. I'm not what the Bible says I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm not her most important thing, because when it comes down to it, she's the most important person to me, that I will bend over backwards to take care of her. But when it comes down to it, I come behind her son, I come behind her sister, I come behind her father, I come behind her aunt and uncle. So I'm about number 6. Well, maybe just her aunt. So I might be like number 5, number 6, give or take.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not the most important thing in her life. When he was like, well, I mean, I don't think it's like, I said, no, it's like that.
He was trying to give you a little.
He tried to ease the blow for me.
Yeah, give you a little bit of hope, but sometimes the reality is the reality.
Reality is reality, and I told her, I was like, I already know I'm not the most important thing. You had a child. I knew you had a child when I met you. I already knew that he was going to be the most important thing. Like anytime you tell somebody, if you want to be with me, you had to deal with my son. We're a package deal. That means it don't matter what the hell that little nigga do. He could go rob a bank. You're going to find a way to be like, well, why did he rob the bank? Because he wanted to, motherfucker. Well, no, maybe he just felt he needed the money. No, because he wanted to.
Yeah, he wanted to. Yeah.
He wanted to. And that's why we're in the situation we are now with him. And I mean, obviously, we can't talk about other shit. That's an off record.
I got you.
But it's like one of the things, like, come on. At some point, either let me raise him or send him with his father.
Yeah. You
don't want to send with his father, because his father, he's gonna be worse off with his father. So if you trust me enough to be in your bed, be in a build a life with you, then you should trust me enough to help you raise him and raise him to be what it is. Now, if you have gone through this whole thing of not giving him a set rules, and now he just doesn't like the structure. Oh, I don't like him because he has too many rules. Guess what? He don't like his job now because they got too many rules. Think of how this is translating over.
Yo, I'm a firm believer, and like I don't have children, not a stepdad, or anything like that. But I'm a firm believer in especially with men, boys, 13, they gotta go with their dad, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because women do a good job. I'm not gonna say that they don't do a good job, but sometimes they can't do the job that's needed. You know what I mean?
Like I'm not gonna say they don't do a good job. I know
they don't do the job that's needed.
Right. Like they do a good job as far as the nurturing part.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that hard truth, that hard, being able to be like,
not even hard. It's hard because you've been nurtured. Now you need to understand what life is and how it's going to be.
Right.
How it's going to be for a man. You know what I mean? Because that's what you're growing up to be.
That's what you're growing up to be. And women don't know what it is to be a man. They just know. And I think we had this conversation before when I would say, like, women that raise these single boys try to teach them to be the man that they want. But yet you can't even find that nigga in the street for real. So now you done created this fictitious ass nigga that you can't even get in your bed. And now you got this soft ass son out here just bending over backwards for these chicks, trying, just getting the pussy and trying to be everything that their mother told them to be. And these bitches running them over. Yeah. Easy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, he would. Like, think about it. Think of all the chicks that was like, you know what? It's not that you're not a good guy. You're just too nice, and I feel like I can run over you, or you don't have that. Like it's. They want some nigga that's gonna be rough and tough with their afro puff out here. You know what I'm saying? That's what they said.
Me and my wife was just talking about that yesterday, and I was just like, women that say that, they don't do themselves they do themselves a disservice. It's not, you don't like him. That's all it is. And then that's fine. You're not attracted to what you getting in that. But because we were talking about something and she was like, women, it kills her when women say, oh, I'm not with, don't nobody want a guy that's always nice. Don't nobody want a guy that's kind of always clingy and always calling me and checking up on me. I'm like, no, that's a lie. She wants that. She wants that from the guy that she likes. I ain't never heard a woman that said, I don't want I never heard a woman that meant, I don't want a guy that's nice. All y'all want a guy.
They want a nigga who they like.
To be nice to them. Right. Yeah.
That's understandable.
You don't like them. You're using them.
All the time on social media in the Pop the Balloon challenge.
Well, yeah.
You see it all the time. Like when you really look at what they denied. Now, mind you, yes, you have all of maybe 4 or 5 minutes up there to pick who you might have a love connection with and whatever. Guess what a lot of the answers are? I didn't see the instant physical attraction.
I didn't feel the vibes.
Right. But yet, you get something that come up, they ratchet. Like, I want someone to provide, like that. Well, when they get asked the question, well, what do you mean provide? I mean, like provide.
What?
So, there's ways, like someone looking out on the outside into me and my wife's relationship, you can make the argument that he doesn't provide for her, but it all depends on what you want provided, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
For me and my wife might just really, because my wife, she make more than me, and she's been on her own for a while. She might just need me to provide what she doesn't have, or provide space for her to freely use her money. So that might just be me buying the toiletries and the commodities for the house. So that's like the toilet paper and the laundry detergent, all that shit that stacks up to be like $80. You know what I'm saying? And that's non-grocery.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then just fill up the, and then help fill up the groceries. You know what I'm saying? Like it might be that she wants that, and then, changing the filter, stuff like that, things around the house. That could be all she needs me to provide. But that's still me providing. I don't gotta take care of all the bills because that's not what she needs me to provide. So provider means different things to everybody. You got some guys, they're like, well, they're going there. So, I want someone who believes in 50-50. You get about 8 of them pop their balloons. Only 10 of them pockets. Now, mind you, I think I've said this before too, is if you can't even provide that life for you, why would you expect me to do it?
Not only that, what they just that for an example, what women fail to realize when a man speaks of that, he wants her to be okay with the idea of it. That might not even be your reality. He might actually just be able to pay 100%. But as I know as a man myself, and you probably feel this way too, like if I was ever in a situation where I was doing everything, it's a nerve-wracking situation to be in, because if y'all live in a certain lifestyle and then y'all can't because something happened to you, then the whole house kind of falls apart. Mm-hmm. I would, to be honest, I would want my wife to be able to earn, let's just say she did part-time shit. If something happened, that she can kind of go in full-time and kind of, we can kind of be at another baseline. We ain't got to lose everything. We might have to cut back on some things, but we ain't got to lose everything. But if something happens to the husband or the father, the man or whatever, something happened to him and she ain't doing that, or she has no skills, he has nothing like that, y'all lost everything. Y'all will lose everything.
Y'all will lose everything.
Until he gets back on his feet. Hopefully he does. So my whole thing is with that is like, it don't even have to be 50-50. Like right now with me and my wife, it's like 70-30 maybe. Maybe not even that. It might be 80-20 now I'm thinking about it.
When it comes to me and my wife, it might be more of like a 60-40 her way.
Versus it's literally 70-20, 70-30 my way.
Your way? Yeah. Yep. See, but the one thing, and this is why I love my wife, is she went in knowing.
Exactly.
She came in this knowing I didn't make what she makes. And she knew that I had to hustle just to get close. And I'm still not close to what she makes.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, let's say I get this promotion, I can negotiate $70,000 a year or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I make $10,000. I'll be catching up to her that, then we could maybe go 50-50 on shit. But she went into this knowing I didn't make, and she kind of going, well, if we're going to do this, I'll pay this as long as you're paying something. Yeah. And because she knows that on the back end of it, once I got it. You know what I'm saying? Or even just that she knows I'll still take her out. I'll do this, I'll do that. So she doesn't have to waste money on like doing food, like certain things she would have to do just to pamper her, do things for herself.
She understands that paying 100% of the bills is a no-go. So she'll rather have some extra money in her goddamn pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of women, they like, no, 100% or nothing at all. Yeah. Someone will even take 50. I'm like, you got 50% of your money back in your pocket and you still like, nah. They don't like those. They don't like those, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you really like the guy, if they really like the guy, they'll do whatever they need to do.
They'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here to help you. And, whatever you need. And that's, and me and my boy, we always talk about it. It was, what a woman is willing to do and how they perceive shit is almost 100% attraction.
Yeah.
Like, if they seen you.
Or dick, yeah.
If they seen you out here balling for real and they don't really like you, but they seen you got money, well, you already knew that, my money's my money, your money's our money. Like, what? Hold up. You know what I'm saying? So, but then if they see a nigga who's struggling, I'm just trying to build. Their tone changes based on what they know you have. So if you got good dick and no money, they willing to build with you. But you got average dick and money, they want you to front the bill to keep them there. But they still won't probably cheat. So it's you never know.
You just gotta find good people in your life. That's all that comes to that.
To have and to hold, nigga. Through sickness and health, my boy.
Remember when I told you I went to the Alpha thing?
Yeah.
And the chick that was there, she had overheard it. And
how'd you get yourself open?
So at first she was cool. And
you got yourself in trouble over an episode that ain't even come out yet.
Yeah, I know, right? And so she was like,
now I don't even know if I should put the motherfucker out.
I ain't gonna put it out. We talked.
Oh gosh, man.
And she was like, well, I just want you to know that, you ain't the only one out here that can see shit and,
but
I go to these sorority events. We got the other fraternities there that I could walk out with 5 numbers, but I do it out of respect for our mirrors that I.
First of all, you coming at me over something that, like, I told you verbatim. You overheard by snooping and eavesdropping. Respectfully is what I'm saying. Because I've been in this situation too, and I told my wife it's a very similar situation, and I'm like, that is guy talk. You weren't even supposed to hear that, and this is why men and women need their separate time with whoever they, whatever, because this is talk that just comes out, but I never act on it. Just like I'm sure you say things and you never act on it. Because I remember one time my wife was like, well, why won't you let me see your phone and this, and I said, look, I have a group chat that's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. I say things. I don't want you looking at me weird or getting mad at stuff that I think is funny. You don't need to see that. It's big booty. I said, it's big booty joints in there. I'm saying crazy shit. I am being disrespectful and this, and that, but you have never known me to disrespect you, any woman, or anything like that. And when I explained that shit to her, she was like, all right. And that's why she don't listen to the podcast now. But like I explained that to her.
But I told her, when we were talking, because she was like, well, I said, well, you gotta understand. I was talking to more because she said, well, I heard it more than once. You were doing it on the podcast and you talked about it with your boy. And I was like, but they asked, I told. It wasn't.
You don't go outside to have conversations. Never mind. That was the wrong thing to say. That is grounds for like you're cheating now. Like I ain't even. Sorry, do not do that. I caught myself. I caught myself.
Like, when we had a conversation that night, we didn't have a conversation about that. I was like, it led into okay, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And like I said to you, I said my initial thing wasn't, oh, she bad as shit. It was, why is she single? Why
that is what we talked about. You were like, why are they single? But
why are they single if you got this body, you got this, and you got all this going for it? Why are you single? You know what I'm saying? And my boy was like, well, like and not that me and my boy we get into arguments about my wife. My boy, he is like some of the women, and not that he's a woman, but some of the women is as soon as it ain't going his way, fuck that bitch, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And I get it.
My homie, I got a homie that's like that too, but he's like that because he's out there. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, yo, like I'm not. Yeah, my homie too.
Yeah.
So sometimes, yo, he told me the other day. Side note, my homie told me 2 days ago. He was like, he's messing with this joint that was like 40 something, and he spent the night over the house. And this is me talking to him. She texting him, talking about something. Well, my son wasn't home. I just thought we would have been fucking all night. He caught offense to that. Like, yo, don't be telling me like what I should be doing to you. Like I came over to drop dick and spend the night. If I wanted to bust one quick joint off or whatever have you and chill for the rest of the night, that's my prerogative.
You should have said something.
That's what he was getting at. You should have said something right then and there, not like a couple days later.
Right.
Making this thing like I'm your sex toy.
Going to lay dick the whole night. Well, if you want to dick the whole night, bitch, say something.
He said, I can like I'm her sex toy and shit. And he was like, that's not even my girl. Like, I don't go all night for. He's like, you lucky I spent the night, and I'm just like,
it baffles me sometimes because I mean, like me and my boy were talking, and I was like, and I'm talking to my wife because you're like, well, I said, well, at the end of the day. He was talking about what he felt was high value. I said, well, a high value woman is subjective to the guy. I said, to me, my wife.
It's about my value is what I hold value to my lifestyle. Like, are you going to be able to fit in my program? Am I going to be able to fit into yours?
Right.
That's simple as that.
Like, I would never say I want you to be like my mother because I don't want you to be like my mother. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to feel like I'm being parented by my wife. But like I told you, and I broke it down to what I felt was high value, and you checked off all those boxes of being high value.
Yeah.
And then that's on Sunday. Then on Monday, that's when she was like, well, no, I just want to let you know that, this and this, blah, blah, blah. And like, I kind of feel special. I'm not letting you know, I'm not saying I'm jealous that you saw other women, but don't think that I don't see these other guys out there. That's like, just no.
Yo, your wife be coming to you like a thug, man. Because there's no way.
Your wife's a thug. Like, look.
There's no way. There's no way I'm having this conversation over something that you overheard that you weren't even supposed to be listening to. And here's the respectfully, morally parts of that. Anyone can find someone attractive, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I see why that person's attractive. Am I attracted? No.
No. If I was,
it's really simple.
Look, put it this way: if I was and I pursued it, me and you wouldn't be having this conversation.
Exactly.
Because I wouldn't have said it out loud.
Here's the thing: even if I right, that too. Yeah, I wouldn't have be having that conversation.
We didn't be having a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Like, well, because I know you're thinking about pledging alpha, and with all the sororities want alphas. And blase. I was like, who said I was thinking about pledging alpha? I said, I considered it, but I ain't got that type of money to be pledging alpha. I ain't got that type of time to be pledging alpha. And I ain't got that type of money to be going to a visit. Okay, everybody got to buy 2 tickets. I mean, I'll be calling, hey, Wes, we got crab fees out here in Anne Arundel County. It's $75 per person. You think you and your wife will come? For $75 per person? Hell nah.
Yeah. All right.
Like, nah, nigga. The fuck you mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, as much as I would want to do it, if I was single, not unmarried, and everything else, I would take a real run at it only because of what I saw that day. But it ain't worth my time for it. If I know that it's going to put a strain on my marriage, I shy away from it. My wife wants me to do it, but I think she really wants me to go Sigma because she's a Zeta, and they're actually contractually bound to each other in Greek life. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's some crazy shit, but nonetheless, we had that conversation, and she's like, "Well, I feel like your boy always." I was like, "No, well, he is." That's why I never take advice from single people. In his head, man, you should have been divorced 3 days ago, when he first started reconnecting with me. We should have been divorced then.
Yeah.
But if you go into life and situations thinking, this ain't for me, and you drop out, did you even really give it a shot? Right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, like when I hear people that say they got divorced, that they still love the person who they married to, they just weren't happy in the marriage. Well, why weren't you happy? I mean, I just wasn't happy. So you don't even know why you weren't happy. You just know you weren't happy.
That's the shit that pisses me off, because chances are you was the reason why you weren't happy.
Right. You jumped to get married. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I don't even think it's that. I talked to my homeboy because about this particular statement I'm about to make, because I've heard so many women out their mouth right next to me say stupid shit like, I got back with my ex because I was bored. Stupid shit like that. And I think usually in marriages, sometimes, not all the time, but more likely, if a woman is, pro-divorce because she ain't happy, this and that, I'm going to say, yeah, there's probably some things the man could improve upon, but usually they're not happy because they feel like their life is stagnant. They don't have any hobbies. They're not growing, and they are bored.
I took on me and Mark talking about this when we left West Coast last night. And I was like, because you're like, well, I feel like you always talk about me like a dog to your friends,
You don't? No, you don't.
I said, no, I don't. Well, specifically to this friend. I said, no. I said, he's the one who told me to stay out the bars. He's the one that said you need to spend more time with your wife. He's the one that told me to do all this, and this, and this. Now, his views on marriage and relationships might be real fucked up.
Yeah.
But he's the one that's like, look, you're married. You got a wife. Why the hell are you at the bar? Like, he was, a lot of times, he's the one that...
Hey, I said that too.
Yeah, you said that too. But you're married. He's the one that put in perspective, like, when me and her were going through this stuff when we were about to get divorced, he's like, if you don't want to be in a relationship, then leave. Like, why are you at the bar? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Like, if I had that opportunity to be with somebody and everything was going fine, I would work as hard as I could to keep that shit together. And I'm like,
so I think homie just misunderstood, like my homie is. All he's saying is he knows exactly what he wants. If he finds it, he's locking that shit down.
Right.
He don't want no distractions of not being able to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
All he's saying is don't get distracted by all this other pussy out there. And I was like, exactly. All right, cool, I get it.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, look, when I go to the bar, it ain't to go see the bitches, it's to see the niggas. Because my niggas be...
Pause.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. It's to see my niggas. Because we all married. We all married. We go to the bar just to get away from the wife. That's 2% of my life of freedom that I might have.
That's true.
It's 2% because they're like, man, like, you got the old heads of like high 50s, 60s. Yeah, I'm about to go out. If you don't like it, you can leave. But these are niggas that are making enough money to be like, all right, yeah, that bitch left. Fuck it.
Yeah, she left.
They can do that. Yeah. You got some other ones like, I've been together. I was like, she want me to do this, you do this. I'm in a very unique situation. My wife is kind of a tweener. She doesn't mind me going out, but she minds me going out. Yeah. And it's like, she doesn't mind me going out if it's periodically, but she minds me being out if it's every day. Yeah. It's like, she doesn't mind if I drink, but she minds if I drink too much. Like, if I'm drinking when she drinks, it's cool. If I'm drinking just because I want to drink, it's a problem. So I'm in a very different, unique situation as everybody. And I was trying.
No, you're not. That's called marriage. That what you're saying ain't nothing.
Ain't nothing new.
It's nothing foreign to me. Yeah. What you're saying.
Yeah, I told her yesterday. I was like, I said,
Shorty, she just wants to feel and know that, like, yo, you are still
present for her.
Yeah. Because you being out all the time means that you don't want to be with her. You drinking all the time means you drinking because of her. Like all that stupid dumb shit that we don't even think about. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like, I'm drinking because I like to drink.
Right. I mean, I was telling her, I said, I said, I don't listen to some stuff I listen to because he does make good points. But I told her, I said, if I was to listen to him, me and you would have been divorced almost 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 months ago. Because he's like, oh, man, you can leave her and find a little jet out here and blah, 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 blah. And I can get that, but I'm like, nah, like. And like I told her, I don't take advice from single people because they're going to give you single advice. They're going to give you advice, well, I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have did that. Well, you're not in a whole relationship where you're bound to a person legally
along with spiritually, you know what I'm saying, in the eyes of God, as you went through the whole ceremony. So you're looking at it from, all right, well, spiritually, I'm bouncing the nigga because I fucked them, but we ain't legally married, so I can just dip off and, you know, whatever. But you're looking at it from a perspective of, I can just up and leave. I can't just up and leave. If I own this house myself, oh, babe, if you want to get divorced, see you. I own this house. Now we got to go through, all right, well, we own this house together. And I want to stay here, but now I got to buy you out of your portion of the house. And that's just what the house is appraised for. So let's say the house is appraised for $90,000.
No, you ain't really got to do that. For real. This is not me trying to get you to do this. It's just the loan. Y'all own the loan together. So it's one of those things where it's like, we need to satisfy the loan. If I sell the house is when you get the equity. If I do that. Okay. Now, we can stay in contact and this and that because both of our name is on the deed of the house. You will know it gets sold.
Well, if she wants to, so yeah, I was looking at this. I had to look.
I'm not saying that's what you should be looking forward to. I'm just saying that will be the process.
But like what I found was, if I want to stay, let's say worst comes to worst, and I want to stay. My best scenario is to buy her out of her portion of the house. And that's buying her out of what equity is possibly in the house. So let's say there's $90,000 of equity in the house. I would need to provide $45,000 to her to buy her out of her portion of the house. Because that, buying her out just means if I sold the house, what would you get, at this point? And so I was like,
but her name, so does that mean her name comes off the deed and all that? Because if not, you ain't got to pay the 45 right away.
Well, when you buy them out, I think it does.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, like, she was like, what's your plan? Because I'm leaving in 6 months. And this is back when we were really in the trenches of like getting divorced. And she's like, what are you going to do? I said, well, I don't want to leave. So we can make an arrangement where I know I can still afford the house on my own. It'd be tough. It'd be tight. I might not have shit in my motherfucking refrigerator, but I can afford to still live here. And worst comes to worst, as an agreement, I can give you whatever I paid on the house, you could take it and put it on your taxes. That way, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, I don't know, I want to sell it. And, whatever we get from it, it should be enough to start up a new life for you. So you're telling me that instead of owning a house that you get tax benefits off of, and I reminded her this when she did her taxes, like, the reason that you didn't owe a shit ton of taxes or whatever is because of this house and because of the timeshare, because of all that shit that we pay. You tell me you're willing to just throw that away because you mad at the moment? I said, happiness and sadness is a temporary emotion. Love is something that you choose to do. Like, especially, hey, well, I love you. It's an action. But when you go into the unconditional love, that is a choice you make every day to love somebody. That is what unconditional love is. Regardless of what they do to you, what they say to you, that you still love them. That is a choice to make. And that's how you end up in the realm of unconditional love. It's not based off of how I feel that day. It's based off of, regardless of what my wife said to me that day, and I might be a little bothered by it, I still love her. And women have a harder time of getting across with unconditional love than men do. Men, once they realize they love you and they want to take care of you, they unconditionally love you. Even I'm going to say this, I know you're going to have something to say about it, even the men that cheat on their wives.
I ain't got nothing to say about that.
Even the men that cheat on their wives and they still go home, they still will do everything above and beyond to make sure they take care of their wife and they still love their wives. And I'm not going to say that is the best unconditional love, but let anything happen to their wife, they will go above and beyond. Like we choose and we really do unconditionally love easier than women do, because a lot of times with women, their love is conditional. Like even the ones on social media, well, you know, my husband, he takes care of everything. So I cook, I clean, I fuck, I shut up.
So how do you explain the women that repeatedly take a nigga back for cheating, knowing that that is a condition for them to stay with that motherfucker?
Because they take care of him.
Not because they love him?
No. Women.
You don't think women take men back after they cheat and do all this fuck shit because they love them? DeLaw.
I know. Now, check out my logic. Now, I'm not going to say
okay. All. I'm not saying all.
Not all. So I'm talking about the ones that I know. The ones that I know.
Listen, the ones that I know. I ain't gonna put nobody out there. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
The ones that I know and what I've seen and everything else, a lot of times, is it because they love them? That's what they'll say. But a lot of times, either they got really good dick and they don't think they'll find any better dick, or they get taken care of financially from this dude. I mean, that's like I've heard chicks like, oh, you know, like we broke up because he cheated on me. And I was messing with this other guy, but like he didn't satisfy me the way the other dude did, and I kind of went back. And we got a kid together, so I figured it was better for the kid. Like a lot of times, women make a lot of excuses to go back to a nigga that they know ain't good for them, based on other shit that's irrelevant to anything. Like even my wife. My wife is one of them, where she stayed with her baby father after he done cheated on her. They done got in a full fist fight. And, well, you know, I needed him because I couldn't take care of these two kids on my own and blah, blah, blah. They come up with every scenario to stay with something because they don't know if they'll find someone better. Or just like for guys, like we don't know. We'll go back to a chick that's a pain in our ass because we're like, is it easier to get this pussy or to find new pussy? You know what I'm saying? It's representative.
Both. Listen, as I gotten older, I now see I'm already married, so it don't even count that I know this. It's all the same.
It's all the same. Yeah,
it's the same type of difficulty.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I should have left. I should have left nothing ass bitches when I was dealing with them long before I actually left them. So it is what it is.
I mean, that's all. I mean, like you know, and I get why some people do leave. I get why all that stuff, but when it comes down to it, and I can only speak from a man's point of view, a good man's point of view, not a shitty motherfucker, not a toxic motherfucker, but a good man's point of view, is that once you lock in, we might not know how you want to be loved, or how to love you the way you want to be loved, but we will love you and we'll do everything we can to love you the best way we know how to and learn how you want to be loved. We'll do that. That's why I say for men, it's easier to love unconditionally because we wake up in the morning and knowing that we ain't got no kids, we're a hot commodity. We can step out and find a jank that's like, oh, he ain't got no kids, he ain't got this, he ain't got no big mother, whatever. It's easy for us to step out and stumble into pussy, but we choose to still love you and honor our marriage. So we choose, in my head, to love you unconditional, regardless of what foolishness you might come up with, regardless of what dreams you might have that I was cheating on you, but knowing I wasn't cheating on you. Like, we still choose to wake up every morning and reassure you that we ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? If I woke up in the morning and said, babe, I'm mad because, in my dream you cheat on me. So, I mean, that's cool and all, but are you cheating on me? Because the only person, you only feel guilty if you're cheating on me, and that's why you think I'm cheating. Like, it would be some way to turn that. And it's like, women, I'm not saying women don't have the capability of loving unconditionally. I don't think it's as easy for them because of how the majority of them have been raised going forward versus.
So that I can agree with. That I can agree with. Yeah.
Me? Ignoring you? Yes, I am, bitch.
Yo, speaking of being in control of your life, for your life, for your day to day, for happiness and success. Do you personally, if a family member came to your house unannounced, do you let them in?
Yeah.
You do? Mm-hmm. All the time? You would at all times?
At all times.
I'm not, and neither is this guy. So listen to this.
Oh, Lord. What kind of question you just asked me?
Where I'm from, people visit each other without any previous communication. The host then has to stop everything they're doing and receive them, especially if they are from the family. I believe it's disrespectful to visit someone without justification and or previous agreement. I know it's a culture of the country, but for me, it's like the visitor is saying, I know you have nothing better to do, so just drop it all and tend to me, disregarding my work or chore I may be doing. I've made it clear to my family that I am strict with this. And even if I'm just watching a movie, playing video games, or looking at my cat, if you didn't take the consideration of notifying me in advance, it doesn't matter to me. You're a few blocks away, coming from a different country or from Mars. If you didn't text or call me in preparation to your arrival, you will be left outside. Door shut. A few days ago, my mother told me a cousin of mine came from a very far away country, and he was going to my house in 2 days. I warned her that I wouldn't be able to receive them because I would be working. I work from home. Plus, I didn't wish to dedicate my time to them. Because my cousin didn't give me the dignity of knowing he was coming to the country beforehand. I didn't even know he had been around for like 1 week. I told my mother, do not come. I will not open the door. I'm really sorry, but no. Long story short, they came to my door anyway. I saw my mother, father, and cousin in the security cam and heard them calling me. I let them sit there under the sun for half an hour until they gave up and left. It's incredibly important for me that my word is respected. If I said don't come, my wishes need to be respected or you'll be left outside. I love my family and friends, but they need to respect me. This I show up first and tell you later culture is way beneath me.
Okay.
Before this, some family members also came from abroad and surprised me with a call saying they were on the beach and for me to go. I am not 9 years old. Plus, I didn't even know they were nearby. You can't just ask me to go to the beach on a weekday in the afternoon. Please dignify me by planning in advance. It's not that hard.
That I understand.
Of course, I declined the invitation and politely let them know I won't just drop everything and go to the beach with them. So you're telling me, I know this is drastic. I listen, this person, that's me all day, every day. I don't open the door for family to just pop up. Because it is one of those things where it's like, oh, I got to get you a water. My house might not even be what it's supposed to be. I might be in my drawers. So it's just kind of like, nah, tell me you want to come. So I can say, yeah, come through. Nah, it's not a good time. But you saying that no matter what, you letting them in.
No matter what.
Man, you better than me.
No matter what. I mean, because it's my people's. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that.
Because the way I see it, it might be that one night I'm just too fucked up to get home. And I don't want you to turn me away.
I understand.
I don't want you to, the fuck is wrong with you? You drunk. You know, my family in here. Like, I ain't answering the door. I knock on the door. I just need somewhere to crash for a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where, you know, family's family. And I don't ever want to have that mentality of, like my cousin, he done crashed 2 cars, wrapped them both around trees because he was too drunk. Both times he said he was around the corner from my house. Why didn't you just knock, ring the doorbell, and I'd have seen it on my, like, well, that's Thursday. That's my family. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on, fam? I just need to crash. All right, you need a bucket too? All right, well, here's a sofa, here's a blanket, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I would never want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? And like in this case, he sounded like somebody who wasn't appreciated by the family. And so it's now that he's got his life together, everybody wants him to do this and this with his brother and sister and family and whatever. And he's like, nah, I don't want to do that because y'all ain't love me back. And that's why I said it's the motherfucker white.
That's what that whole thing sounded like to you?
That's what it sounded like to me. No, don't get me wrong. Like black people do the same shit. I'm not saying they don't. But what I'm saying is when it comes to like real black community, you know, everybody always texts when they're coming over.
Right.
I get it. If someone pulls up at the house because of whatever, oh, you drunk? All right, well, sit your ass here. You know
okay, so when you put it that way, right? I didn't think about the person might need some assistance, right? So in that case, it's kind of like, yo, yeah, you should not turn family away. Now I feel bad, but no one has ever came to my house.
No one's ever come to my house like that either. But I mean, it's just one of those things where
if I tell you no, though, you won't respect me. I that part I agree with. It's like, yo, I can't.
If it's pre-planned and I don't want to house nobody, that's something totally different. Yeah. So and here's the thing: if you still pull up on my house and I said I'm not housing a motherfucker,
it wasn't even housing. It was just a visit.
Oh, it was just a visit?
Yeah.
Fuck them other niggas.
It was just a visit. It wasn't like to house. It's just like, yo, like if I tell your mom's like, nah, it's gonna be a no. And your mom come over there anyway. So the mom was hoping it was like, well, if I come with him or if I come with them, my kid ain't gonna leave me out there. So if it was my mom by herself, yeah, I ain't gonna leave her out. I ain't gonna, yeah.
Cool.
No, that's because he told her, like, yo, don't bring this nigga. You bought the nigga. Y'all not getting that.
You know what's funny? Is my stepfather would have pulled up at my house and be like, the fuck you leave your mother out there for? Yeah, that's when your daddy come out that motherfucker.
I get it.
What's wrong with you?
Well, but my dad, let's just say hypothetically, my dad being the man that I think he would be, is like, yo, respect this man's house. He's a man now. He said, I'm not taking visitors. This is like, you could have some pussy up in there. Like, that's the day you clapping cheeks.
Yeah.
Like, you clapping cheeks all night, all day, or whatever have you. I'm like, it's not a good time because I'm clapping cheeks. You gotta respect them. You gotta respect that person's wishes, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, especially if I tell you nah, but like, yo, you dropping by. Like, especially if it's family on it. I guess it's different for me because I don't really be talking to family like that. There's like 5 or 6 people I'll be talking to. So like, if my sister showed up, yeah. My brother showed up, yeah. My mom showed up, yeah. Anybody outside of that, what are you doing here? I don't even think motherfuckers know where I live at. So the fact that you show up, something going on. I don't think I want to be a part of this. You can see all the cars outside and the windows up. I'm not fucking holding that door. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one.
It's a tough one. But
it was up until you said if they drunk or if they need some help. I was like, damn, you're right.
Now,
usually I try to avoid the can I borrow some money type shit. That's I guess that's what I'm thinking from.
Like if they just pulling up just because they want to pull up and they ain't got nothing else to do with their life, that's a different story.
But you don't know why they pulled up.
No, I don't. I mean, but in this case, it sounded like he knew what they were pulling up for. They wanted to come.
He told his mom no. She did it anyway.
Then you set a time. Well, that's why I said it's a white ball. Black ball. Yeah, well, you know what?
It could be it don't have to be white. They could be Nigerian or they could be African. Only because that is the culture. Like, yo, when you have a guest, you give that guest whatever they need and want. They are your guests. That's any culture, but Western culture, like our culture and all the Western countries and shit like that. That's not our culture. So that could be anybody.
That's true.
Anybody. But yeah, man. Hey, listen, that person chose happiness in that situation. You're like, yo, somebody gonna respect me and I'm gonna be happy that I stood up for myself.
Yeah.
They control their situation. That was one aspect in their life that they know that they can control, which is people coming in and dropping in unannounced, disrupting my day. I agree with it now.
I mean, I've heard worse.
I've heard worse too.
But I get it. You know, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is at that point. You know what I'm saying? But you know what you got yourself into when you were born with your parents.
Yeah. Funny as shit. You know what you got yourself into when they birthed you, when she birthed you.
They birthed you, you know what you got yourself into.
I swear, man. Some parents, it's just like, yo, like, I could talk to you any type of way because I birthed you. I can be unreasonable and irrational and shit like that because I birthed you. You just gotta deal with it. And it's just like, the moment that adult child or kid stands up for themselves, you'll think you hit that motherfucker. Like, how dare you stand up for yourself and try to treat yourself
in my face?
In my face.
In
like,
my face.
I'm supposed to continue to do what I want to do.
Right.
I don't never want to be in no situation like that. Shit.
Hey, man,
on that note, even though DeLaw feels like he's not in control in his life, I know he is. And everyone, please continue to control what you can control to be happy and to be better. And thank you guys for listening.